All right, I figure I'd go ahead and serve you up a nice little dish of PCMR for our Wednesday, January 22, 2025. Did I get that day right? I've been known to have been wrong before. Yes, it's a Wednesday, so we normally do a PCMR midway through the week. I guess better late than never. Some of you are probably already in bed by the time this hits your YouTube notifications. But we're going to talk about here today, if this is your first time tuning in to just a regular staple, a mainstay in the coin collecting hobby and community, the Pocket Change Market Report we've been doing for like 8 years. It's been a while. And we talk about a lot of the finds that you guys come across. They could be a mint error or a die variety, like a double to die, a repunch mint mark, a transitional type of piece, you name it. But also some of the coins that are featured on here aren't coins at all. It could be paper money, currency. Kind of a big deal today. We know Star Notes have ceased production. There's no more new Star Notes coming out at all. It's done. It's all the thrill of the hunt, the chase, finding things that are most relevant to your collection or for resale. A lot of people do it to resell and make some money at the end of the day. It's a great way to supplement your 9 to 5. One day, depending on how much you put into it, it could very well replace the 9 to 5. I know it did with me, and I've just kind of branched out from there, and that is highly a possibility for you guys. So we're going to talk about some of these sales on eBay that have been trending here in the last day or two. These are all up-to-the-date sales figures. You're not going to find any that's old, out of date, or inaccurate. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. One more point. The coins are all raw, nothing graded in this video. This will give you kind of like a that look of the market for coins that don't need to be graded and how much they'll sell for. You will be mightily surprised how much the coins sell for when they're not in a graded holder. They speak for themselves in a matter of speaking. So before we jump right in here, I sell on the platform Whatnot. I also sell on eBay. I cover all the bases, my friend. One day we will do a video on taking advantage of all of the different types of social media, because guess what? Advertising, for the most part, is free, whereas 30 years ago, it didn't used to be. One of the platforms that I personally love that's growing is live social media auctions. Whatnot is at the very forefront of that innovation. We have a pretty big event coming here on March 4th. All right, so stay tuned. And if you're not signed up, what are you waiting for? You need to sign up today. Don't wait. I got 2 QR codes. They're the same one. Depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed. Go ahead and take advantage of that. You sign up today, I will give you $15 off your first item purchase. It doesn't matter if it's with me or one of the other great sellers on the platform. But get yourself ready for March 4th. We're going to do a 3-month quarterly event that starts on that date. The big prize, 1 ounce gold eagle. Why would you not want that? I know I want it. I want it so bad that I want to give it away to one lucky winner. And, it's just going to be all hands on deck. It's going to be a fantastic time to be part of the hobby. We do right now, currently, that's until March 4th, we're going to be throttling more shows in there. We do regular coin auctions every Friday. We have a premier selection show this Friday. Silver giveaways every single stream, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And for you guys in between, you know where you stand. Hope to see you guys there. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into these eBay listings. Let's not wait any longer. Some of them you've probably seen. Some of them you probably need a little bit of an update, like this 2022P. Our good old Sally Ride, America the Beautiful, American Women's Series quarters. Okay, it's the first year of these, and this one kind of made some waves back in the day because it was very similar to some of the mint errors that we saw on like the Tuskegee Airmen with the burning building and all that great stuff. A pretty similar mint error type where we call it as a field restricted strike through. This is where this is a something where the Yeah, as you can tell, my brain is running on all cylinders. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. Sorry about that. The feeder finger, which aids in actually seating the next planchet in the striking chamber, makes contact with the face of the die. So with all that action, you do get little contact marks of the feeder finger, which will look like parallel lines, but ultimately there is some grease on that die and it gets shifted around. Okay, in this particular case, on this quarter, you're going to find it on the obverse where George Washington's kind of ponytail. And I guess ear and hairline kind of meet all together. That seems to be the place for it. Now, these things right here have fallen off over the years. Consider it a 3-year-old coin as of right now. It's crazy. It just seemed like yesterday these things were released. But this one, quite a healthy sale. $25 and a penny with 4 bits. All right, so all the prices I'm giving you does incorporate some sort of shipping in there. That is, of course, the total cost of ownership, so I want you guys to know that. So $25, not too bad, considering that they apex, at 30, $35. This one obviously has a fair amount of circulation wear, but every time you pick up a Sally Ride quarter, always look on the obverse, because if you have this strike through, this cratering event on the ponytail, then you will have the coin that everybody was buzzing about a few years ago. And still apparently quite popular today. Next one that we have here is the 1935E $1 silver certificate. Crazy looking coloring behind George Washington. I don't know if that was part of the bill or if it's just some sort of photography trick. I don't know. But interesting to say the least. But what's really crazy about this one is the miscut and a little bit of the misalignment of the print. They're not all registering together in perfect harmony. So yeah, you're going to want to look for notes like this. Maybe not necessarily as circulation, although I have found a few that were miscut that I ended up doing pretty well on selling later on, like on eBay and all that. But yeah, just look at this one. You're going to see actually a sliver of the next note down below. When you flip it over, yeah, it's pretty well off center here. So it ticks all the boxes of a miscut. This one sold for $62 with 15 total bits. All right, nice, healthy amount of money. It's what we consider to be a very minor type of miscut error on paper money, the one that you see here. But judging from the sale price, that's real money that you can make. Next one that we have here, pretty similar to the previous note, although when you look at the serial number and everything else going on, we have some things going on. A little bit of miscut, a little bit of misalignment. When we look at the back of the note, you can see that, the centering is pretty decent. Again, the registration between the front and the back wasn't plumb. Definitely a misaligned sheet of some sort. This particular one sold for $81.51 with 3 total bits. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are actual auctions that go the course of 5 to 7 days, and people bid on them, all right, based off of general interest. So there was definitely some interest here on the first few items based off of, some of the auction activity that was happening. Next one that we have here, this is one that if you blinked, you would easily miss it, especially for earnest, savvy, kind of like wheat cent searchers. People buy bags of wheat cents to look for things like this, and along with key dates and varieties and all that. This is a 1945 Lincoln wheat cent. When you look up close at the date here, you can see what is a attached lamination, so it's still on there. And lamination occurs when there's impurities in the alloy mix. All right, so it makes the surface a little bit flaky in certain areas where the impurities are the richest. This particular one, while not the biggest lamination or the most compelling, did ultimately sell for $10.25. Not too bad. That's over 1,000 times your face value. So definitely one to be on the lookout for. The rule of thumb with laminations, the bigger they are, the more that they're worth. Generally, the ones that go from rim to rim are quite attractive, and they seem to command the most amount of money. The next one that we have here is a 1907 Indian head cent. This one's pretty easy. It's a little bit of a curved clip there, as we can see right at the 12 o'clock position on the obverse. This one even has a nice looking Blakesley effect, which is the flattening of the rim on the opposite side of that clip, right underneath the date. You can even see it on the reverse as well, right above the shield. But yeah, that is what a curved sheet clip looks like. This particular one, nice sale and nice condition coin, might I add. It's a nice solid XF. $54.95. And it just goes to show you that one of the most common mint errors, which are clips, laminations, die chips are all very common. On the right type of coin, there's going to be some opportunity there. Now, granted, this one here was sold as a buy it now listing. So the seller wanted X. That's what that person put on there on the listing. And then someone fell in love with it, scooped it up for the asking price. And then that was it, new owner, seller sells his item. And, that's kind of like part of the game that we all play here is being able to sell and, buy coins and then, have the same modicum of success that this person did. Another neat one here too. Now this is a mint error type that isn't quite gotten its due in terms of the market. These are misaligned dies. It's a 1999D Jefferson nickel. When you look at the front of the coin, it's off center. That's pretty easy to see. When you look at the reverse of the coin, it's perfectly very well struck and centered. So that obverse die obviously a little bit loose. It wasn't completely seated properly or just through many strikes, like wear and tear on a car. Things begin loosening up, thereby allowing for a little bit of play here when this one was struck. $4.25 with a couple of bids. Again, the market is still a little bit underwhelmed for misaligned dies, not to the extent of like off-center strikes, because, those have been selling very well, but we'll see. Maybe one day a misaligned die that, we all will want to have will end up selling on eBay, and we're going to talk about it. One of my favorite varieties, and you can't find better varieties than on a 1972 Philly Lincoln Memorial cent. This one is doubled die obverse FS102 or DDO number 2 in the Coneca files. So this one right here is a beautiful, just gemmy mint state red edition. It is quite a succulent little beast. When we look up close to the devices, it's easy to understand doubling. True hub doubling like this, is quite a marvel to look at, and on specific coins, they are quite monstrous. The FS101, which is the one right before this, is quite a beast in itself. It's really easy to notice, especially in hand. I know it's one that's pretty easy to see with the naked eye. But ones like these, which obviously the doubling is legit, it's great. You still need a jeweler's loupe or a magnifier, to see it up close, because there are 9 or 10 Cherry Picker's Guide varieties for doubling for 1972. So you gotta make sure you pick the correct one. Now this coin, in all of its grit and coolness factor because of the grade, $153.90. Yeah, nobody ever said these were cheap. Even the FS102s and 3s and 5, 6, and 7s and all that great stuff. Oh boy, I haven't seen one of these in a minute. 2008 P. Jefferson nickel. Everybody's favorite obverse design. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is a clash die. And I know it's not immediately apparent looking at the full obverse and reverse photos, but if we went in a little bit closer, you could see the doubling, especially on the reverse, underneath the steps. So between Monticello and the steps, you can see some of Jefferson's eyeballs clashed in there on that reverse die. And you can see it a little bit on the obverse as well, where you can see that raised line that goes across. I believe that's the bottom of Monticello right there. So they call this an atypical die clash. This one's sold for $54.51. So quite a nice sale here on these. We haven't seen too many as of late. I think one of the last dates for an atypical die clash of this magnitude, I believe, was 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And that was, that's already 4 years ago. So we haven't seen as many of these on much newer dates. But then again, you still find a lot of them on the older dates. So always look at the, on the reverse and all that, and making sure you don't skip this one. 2000 Lincoln Memorial Set. We're looking for the wide AM on this one, of course. A very common die variety is what this one is. I've even found some of these, and I'm on the West Coast. European minted coins are traditionally found east of the Mississippi. So for those of you that say in New York, North Carolina, Florida, any state east of the Mississippi, you're going to have a much easier time finding the wide AM reverse Lincolns from 98 to 2000. This is one of the more common dates. I always like to throw these in here. Has the market really moved on them? This one is in pretty decent shape. Nothing too crazy. It's sold for $18.70. I know these can go down to as low as a few $2 or $3, depending on condition. But the nicer ones, I've seen hit $40-$50. All right. So it's money. It's not going to make you rich, nor could you retire off of it. But just a little, just to let you guys know, these are out there, and they did produce a whole bunch of them. The Philadelphia Mint, that is. And there's a little bit of a close-up of the gap between A and M. Okay, that's important. That's going to be a pretty sizable gap like you see there. Whereas the regular reverses will have an A and M that are touching at its base. Oh, man, this thing's crazy. This is such a rare date. 1920s Lincoln Wheat Cent, off-center by about 20%. This thing was an absolute time capsule find. This is incredible. This is a very rare date of an off-center strike. And, knowing the amount of people that I do know that collect off-center Lincolns by date, this is one that's a necessity. And someone scooped this one up as quickly as you could possibly ever imagine in a buy-it-now scenario, $254.51. Might I say that price might even be a little bit on the cheap side, but we'll never know because it's sold for $254 with shipping altogether. Again, don't sell yourself short. Always do your research. There's going to be a few of these that are going to be worth quite a bunch more than what we're advertising with this 1920s. And here's another crazy sauce one, 1981D. Obviously, the coin was struck off center, probably by about 50-55%. But it's got an indent right there on the obverse, okay, which is probably another struck Lincoln cent or a scrap fragment that was on top for the strike. There's a lot going on here. And it's so crazy. You can even see a little bit of a blockage on that fragment indent area. When do we see these? Never. It's damn near unique. It's like a fingerprint. So this one right here sold for, again, I feel like it's a bargain, but it's still a lot of money. $107.45 with 15 bids. So it was bid up, and I'm sure a couple of the big error guys saw this one, kind of salivated a little bit, but ended up, just letting it go for $107. It could have sold for $200 or $300, and we wouldn't even bat an eye. There's a little bit of a close-up. Check that out. That is nasty. That's the epitome of nasty right there. Speaking of nasty, again, you just never know what you're going to find. This one is it's a 12 Lincoln cent coin cut by position. It's almost like a clock. So the coin at the very top, that Lincoln cent has a cut right at the 12 o'clock position, right above its head. And as it goes around clockwise, the cut position is right where that number is corresponding to a clock. So on the 1 o'clock position, the cut is at the 1 o'clock position on the coin, 2 o'clock, and so on. And it goes all the way around. This thing is really cool. Yeah, it was even framed and the whole bit. I mean, this is really cool. Again, this one undersell by a little bit. It sold for $459.39 with 4 bids. Yeah, you divide that into 12, and it was about $37 a piece, somewhere around there. Not too bad, not too bad. And are the coins glued on that blue cushioned surface? Again, any glue that's on there will of course adversely affect the value of each of the coins. Kind of hard to say, but I just wanted to show this off. Again, you just never know what you're going to find on eBay. This one popped up, and it's really cool. Speaking of cool, man, we're covering things that we've never covered on the PCMR in the 8 years that we've been doing this. This is a 1957B $1 silver certificate with a courtesy signature of, at the time, Treasurer Catherine O'Hay Granahan. How cool is that? Now, I will admit, I've owned this same very courtesy signatured silver certificate. I've also owned it on the first edition $1 bill. The Federal Reserve note. What was that, from 1963? I've owned both the silver certificate and the FRN with her signature on there. She's actually one of the more common courtesy signatures. All right, so but nonetheless, pretty cool. You just don't see these as much anymore. This one is in such a nice condition too. Check that out. It's a nice, crispy, uncirculated freshie. And then there's another close-up of the signature. This one sold for $49.95. 1985 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Is this thing struck in silver or clad? It kind of looks like it. No, it was actually on the correct planchet. It's just missing the copper plating. Okay, which does happen. I've found a few of these. Some would say, "Oh, someone just stripped the copper plating on there. It's real easy to do." Yeah, well, not without destroying the zinc core, because the zinc core is so precarious and it does not stand up well to anything acidic or anything moisturous, for that fact. So even getting a little bit of water on zinc will have some long-term effects, damage-wise, to the coin. This one is lustrous. It has no pitting whatsoever, not anywhere along the coin. It's just a coin missing its copper plating. Surprisingly, some people don't know what this is. This one ended up selling for $49. So now the coin is just going to appear silver, but it's going to be very lightweight. That's what zinc is. Yeah, sorry, I didn't warn you about this one. This is what we all kind of like strive to find with these crazy mint errors that involve a secondary coin. They call these bonded pairs. All right, and they actually have bonded trios and quartets. They could have as many coins as you can imagine. If there is a catastrophic screw up in the striking chamber, believe me, it could be any number of coins. So this is a pair of 2000 Lincoln Memorial cents. The initial first coin is broad struck, but also has an indent. And this goes to show you how an indent occurs is when you have two coins or a coin and a planchet that are overlapping each other during the striking process. This is your final product. Here's a secondary image showing both pieces separated from each other. And then here's another image of the two coins on the reverse combined, all right, during the strike. So, really cool. Hello. I would probably guess that these two were found in a mint-sewn bag. And that's going to be the best bet as to how these two ended up finding each other, is that they were in the same bag. Now, we have to take into consideration that mint-sewn bags existed until about 2004 or 2005. And then after that time, they didn't do it that way anymore. So, mint errors and varieties, they tend to all travel in the same bag. like this one here. And there are too many of them. Now, bonded pairs really make a coin very expensive. It does the trick every single time. If you found just one coin, it's going to be a coin that's worth 30, 40 bucks. Impressive. But when you have both sets, that all of a sudden this one ended up selling for $727.99 with 15 bits. Yeah, now we're talking. So it's the importance of having both pieces. Now, some of you are going to ask, is that the actual legitimate market for this? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, the value is highly predicated on the amount of pieces involved. So if there's a 3-coin bonded set, now we're talking about like a $2,000 set. 4 coins, a lot more. And I've seen bonded sets go all the way up to like 15, 20 coins. And those things are tens of thousands of dollars. Mid-airs, they get really crazy. All right, so the seller had a number of Buffalo nickels that he had found, and they're all 2-feather varieties. Okay, legit, they're fine. But what you got to know about what this person is selling is that, every single coin has been acid dipped in its entirety. These were probably missing the date completely, and they acid dip them to restore the date, have it come back up. So that's kind of what they do here. Now, even though it's a 2-feather, it's a legit variety, because it's acid dip, it's not going to command a full market. Like this 1919's is a rarity. If it wasn't acid dip, we'd be talking about maybe a $300 coin here. Instead, this one sold for $23.95 with 19 bids. Acid etching Buffalo nickels, even if you want to know what the date is, they do a number on the value. But at the end of the day, it's like, would I rather have a dateless Buffalo 2-feather, or do I need to know the date? A lot of people, and I would say myself, I'd rather know what the date is. And as long as it's a low ball, unreadable date coin, it really doesn't matter. Coins and cards, just sneaking in a few of these super atomic coins. In 1955, FS101 double to die obverse. I mean, he's sold a few of these raw. He said this one's uncirculated. I will disagree by quite a bit. This is probably like an AU details coin. Hard to say if it's been cleaned or whatever. It's got smooth surfaces for sure, from what I can tell. But, still a very important coin, whether it's graded or not. You got to know what to look for. This one is a legit example. It sold for $2,855 with 49 bids. So there you go. Another great one from Coins and Cards. And how about this one? 1867 over 67 repunch date Indian Ed set. This is a dream coin of mine, along with the 69 over 69 repunch date too. That one is equally as impressive. It's got to be in this condition. It's got to be XF and higher. Me personally, that's the only way I'll accept these, because you always want a nice high grade specimen. This one is just lights out. Again, it's dirty. Look at the repunched 6 and 7 there. $645 on this one. 28 bids was the finale, the grand finale of this one. And the last 2 coins, I'm telling you what, boys and girls, you gotta know. You gotta know. These are not road rash damage coins. You've seen one, and you're gonna see 2 of them here in this video. You see them, and you'll know. These are phenomenal coins. 1960 Lincoln cent struck on a split planchet. The planchet is like very thin, probably half the weight of the 3.1 grams that these were originally. Lots of weakness. Okay, you could tell that on the reverse, the woody kind of like striations. That was the split end of that coin. This particular one sold for $23.92. Kind of underwhelming, in my humble opinion, because the next coin, 1964, also struck on a split planchet, is the better of the 2 coins. I don't know how. I think they're both the same. This one, it just has that the stronger kind of texturing of the striations there on that split side. And it's on the obverse. I think that the devil's in the details usually with these coins. So this particular one sold for $57.95. That's more like it. These are generally $40 to $60 coins every day of the week, and most people throw these back. They just don't know any better, and that's crazy, very crazy. Nice little sale here on this one. That's going to go ahead and do it for this one, guys. Nice little short PCMR review. We had a little bit of extra talking points on all the coins. Thank you guys for tuning in. Information in this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly. And I am your host, Sean. That's going to go ahead and wrap things up. Go out there and look for your treasure. There's plenty to go around. If you're doing it as a business, you're looking to make extra money, I got good news, friends. There's a lot to look out for there, and there's a lot you could do to monetize in this hobby if you're looking to start out. That's it, guys. I'm out of here. Best of luck in your hunts, and I will see you next time on another coin video. Take care.